You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting The Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu. Live uncommon. Joining me today, Mike Fischer, gift planning advocate for LCMS Mission Advancement. Mike, welcome to The Coffee Hour.
Thank you. Good to be here.
It is good to have you in studio and learn more about what you get to do. And I know you have some news about recent legislation to share with us as well. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
Sure.
For our listeners, tell us a little bit about what you get to do with LCMS Mission Advancement every day.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity to meet with so many of our good contributors of Synod. And I work mainly with those that have been contributing with Synod over the years and broadening their stewardship walk, if you will, to include not only what they give during their lifetime, but setting up plans dealing with assets that they may leave to loved ones and hopefully to the church and the work that the church does. The fact is that Synod's average age about 5 years ago was 61, and we suspect that it's a little older now. And that another fact is about 70 trillion, that's with a T, dollars of wealth is going to transfer in our country to the next generation by the year 2050. And so when you put those two aspects together, there is such an opportunity when we realize how God has blessed us that people can continue their giving after God's called them home and do that through their estate plan, whether it's an endowment or an actual gift out to the church.
Very good. So how does this make a difference for the church then when individuals or families are able to give in such a way?
Well, out of that money or value of assets that are coming to the next generation, about 98% of that is in non-cash. And so with that non-cash composition, you find that people realize that they have more than they really thought they had. And they are amazed at how God's blessed them when we work with them and meet with them. And they consider, well, God has been so good to me. I do want to care for loved ones, but I want to continue the work of the church, whether it be missions, could even be KFUO, could be World Relief, and on goes many other opportunities.
So recently, there has been some legislation that may impact charitable giving. Tell us about this legislation, and we'll talk more about what that means for individuals in just a moment.
Sure. Be happy to. It was the omnibus bill that was passed right before Christmas last year, and in it was a section that many people in the industry call Secure Act 2.0. Back in 2019, Secure Act 1.0 was set in place where those who have IRAs, traditional IRAs, that they can leave up to $100,000 to a charity in a given year. Because at age 70 and a half, prior to 2019, you were required to have minimum distributions from your IRAs. Because IRAs are pre-tax, the government said, you can't keep hoarding that money. Sometime down the road, you have to use it for retirement. And so they had a set minimum age when you had to start drawing on that. So prior to 2019, again, it was age 70 and a half, and in 2019, it became 72. Then this past December, that was raised to age 73. And down the road, it will be 75. I don't remember the actual year, but it'll be a few years out from this year. Another component is that the $100,000 limit is still there for an individual, again, from a traditional IRA. And a third component of this new act was that people not only can transfer that directly to charity and not realize it as income, they can also fund what you would call a charitable trust or a charitable gift annuity one time during your life. Now, that gets a little more complex, but those who are interested, be happy to talk with you individually how that can work out. So in summation, you have the requirement at a particular age, those who own IRAs, those who are age 73 and older, they are required to take a distribution from those IRAs. So instead of not having that as income, because most people do not itemize now, they then can make that a gift and go to a ministry of their choice.
So tell us more about how this impacts their giving. How do you see this impacting charitable giving?
Well, as just mentioned, you have those that do not itemize, and so they almost realize a double dipping capability. They get the standard deduction for their gifts anyway, irrespective of whether they give or not. But then in addition, they don't have to have added income to themselves with the RMD, the required minimum distribution. So that which they are required to take, they don't have to take. They then can direct that to a ministry. And so they get the benefit of both worlds. No added income, and they can still use a standard deduction.
And the ages for that, again, have moved to
73.
73. Now, does that impact anyone if they take a distribution earlier, or would they still be able to make that charitable giving?
Great question. They can do that qualified charitable deduction, QCD, from their IRA at 70 and a half. If they do it, they cannot do it before 70 and a half.
So many letters, so many abbreviations.
We're in a world of acronyms.
So at 70 and a half, they may make that qualified, what was it again?
Qualified charitable distribution.
QCD. All right.
But at 73, they have to.
They have to take
an RMD, required minimum distribution, or have it bypass themselves and go to ministry.
Very good. And this is for all IRAs, correct?
All traditional IRAs. Uh-huh. If you have a Roth IRA, you cannot do that.
Uh-huh.
If you have a 403 or a 401k, what you could do is transfer that or recharacterize that as a traditional IRA. And then you're able to do what I just described. But if you can't do it straight from a 401k or a 403b.
And you cannot from a Roth IRA.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Any advice that one might need to seek, or to whom should they speak to learn more about this particular legislation and change in IRAs and required minimum distribution?
Well, we really went into a lot of technical information in the last 5 minutes or so, and a lot of acronyms. And this can be confusing. And free service that our Synod provides through Mission Advancement, that people who are interested in this topic and wish to know more can reach out to us at Mission Advancement or at our gift planning page. On the Synod webpage, you will find our gift planning page under Donate. And that provides contact information people may have. I would be happy to answer any questions that people may have if they wish to email me at mike.fischer, that's the German way, FISCHER, at LCMS.org.
Very good. Mike.Fischer at LCMS.org.
Correct.
And if you go to LCMS.org and click on the donate button, go to gift planning, is that right?
Correct.
Gift planning, and you can learn more there as well. If you're internet savvy, want to go that route as well, or email Mike Fischer. is there a phone number that they might want to call?
Yes, it'd be area code 314-996-1680. That's my assistant, Kate Ellis.
314-996-1680.
Correct.
Very good. And then they can set up a time to meet with you or to talk with you. Very good. Anything else we need to know, particularly about this or about planned giving?
Well, gift planning is basically a holistic concept where you want to set up, maybe a similar term would be charitable estate planning. Mm-hmm. Within that, we use the term planned gift. someone may make a specific planned gift that's a part or a component of the overall gift plan. So you want to make sure that both coincide with each other. And a planned gift is what we were just talking about, where you would consider your IRA, if you're of that age, and you plan to make that gift. Other people do planned gifts like donating stock, setting up a donor advised fund, or some sort of split interest gift. That's technical wording. But we encourage people at least to set up in their own estate plan, whether it's a will or a trust, efforts to tackle and address what assets they have, how they are to be managed while they're living, as well as the final distribution. And with that, we hope that they remember the work of the church.
Have you found that there's a good time to do that planning? I mean, we always say now, but...
Excellent question. We just sent out a reminder at the beginning of January because at that time of the year, most people think of making resolutions. Mm-hmm. And with resolutions, one would always be good to review what plan you have in place. And that's always good in January. And that would be your overall gift plan. However, there are times in the year, particularly with the qualified charitable distribution, people are notified in the fall that they should be thinking about when that would happen by their financial institution. And so that's when that type of planned gift would come into play.
So maybe when you're changing the batteries in your smoke detector or scheduling your dentist appointment or something like that, also put on the calendar to review those things as well.
But one usually says, one last comment, Andy, one usually recommends or say that you have probably every 5 years, if you have not done so, go back and look at your documents because your overall estate plan is not only a will and, if interested, a trust, but then you have powers of attorney and medical directives, and you want to make sure that those are current.
Great idea. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for that. Great tip. You can learn more at lcms.org. Click on the donate button at the top of the page, and that'll take you to more options for gift planning as well. My guest today, Mike Fischer, gift planning advocate with LCMS Mission Advancement. Mike, thanks so much for being my guest on the Coffee Hour.
My pleasure. God bless.
You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.